Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Sam Armando, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Lottie Doherty. Okay, Lottie is an award-winning entrepreneur, virtual assistant coach, mentor, and the founder of Virtual Lottie, a prominent VA and social media agency based in the UK. She is known for her transformative personal journey from a burnt-out teacher to a thriving agency owner and coach who supports virtual assistants in building high-freedom, client-focused businesses. Lottie, welcome.
Thank you. When you say it like that, you're like, oh my gosh, so much has happened in such a short space of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, take me down a trip. Take me on a trip down memory lane, okay? Just to kind of let the listeners know, like what were you doing before you started your company, and then what really motivated you to get out of that and then get into starting your company?
Yeah, so fortunately for me, I have entrepreneurial background in essence of my mum's an entrepreneur, my dad has been, my family own property. So that was already there in the nutshell. And I'm a big Dragon's Den fan. So that was naturally like there was something there, but I'm not really like I always thought running a business was like you had to create some sort of invention when we were
Mm.
younger. We're very fortunate now that we have online, but I never quite found anything. So I went down the route of being a teacher. I traveled. So I did teaching English as a foreign language, like in Asia, in Europe. That's how I met my partner, who is also co-director now. And then we both came home, we're like, right, that was quite easy. Let's do teaching. And it was the total opposite. So we ended up I basically ended up being bullied out, and it wasn't from it wasn't from the kids, it wasn't from the parents, it was the teaching aspect. Like I was burnt out to the point of I was doing like 70-80 hour weeks. I don't even think I had one full day off on weekends.
Wow.
And yeah, and the teachers would literally be like, this isn't good enough, you need to redo it. I didn't even get half terms off. When they say you get 3 months off a year, you really don't. Well, I didn't personally. And we found out some really bad news about a friend who's our age who had cancer, and it was enough for me. I was like, life's too short. I shouldn't be crying every night when I come home, upset, burnt out. And then I quit, but you have to give a term's notice before you're allowed to leave. So
60 days,
during,
something like that, right?
yeah, I think it was about 6 to 7 weeks notice, about 60 days. Yeah. And it was just October half term, literally just started 3 years ago now. So this is like really good timing actually. And
Yeah.
I met a real life VA who was in my local hometown, and I was like, wow, this is legit. This is a real thing. I've seen it all over TikTok. So I thought, I worked out my finances, thought, right, I give it 3 to 6 months, really give it a go. And in my first 3 months, I was fully booked, earning more money, and I had an associate within 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize the drainage associated with what everyone thinks is a really secure job, and I think you just outlined the actual stress that comes with teaching, right?
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that as well. I was a teacher previously to what I'm doing currently, and yeah, a lot of burnout, and then definitely not the freedom that you want. So good for you for
No.
actually making that jump. Um, all right, so yeah, let's fast forward to today. Okay, who would you say is your ideal customer, and what is the main problem that you solve for them?
Oh, good question. So I think our main bread and butter now are 6 or 7 figure coaches who are at a point where they're doing brilliantly, but they've outsourced so many different things that there are too many people that they've outsourced to that I think they've got a little bit lost as to like what's next. for their business. So I don't know, they have a content strategist, they have a social media manager, they have a VA. And what we come in is we do all of it in a nutshell. You just have to go to one person who has one team who is doing all of it for you. And so that's what we do now. We've got to a point where we specialize in marketing as a virtual assistant agency, which is why we're social media as well. And we do everything from like lead magnets, the sales funnels, the emails, the content creation, social media. And I've just found that a lot of things that coaches do is they outsource so much, but they're still adding on more work for themselves, which is defeating of the object of why they got to a point where they wanted that freedom-based lifestyle. And what does freedom-based mean to them now? Their objective and the dream future scenario changes, and they have to grow with that, and they're not at the moment. They seem to be working more than what they were doing beforehand. So that's when we come in to understand the full picture, to go, okay, well, let's just take that and slowly build it to the point where the client can actually take a step back and don't feel like they're doing everything. They have the brain space, which none of us really do these days as business owners as well. So yeah, hopefully that's.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that business owners are more caught up than ever in terms of being stuck in the business versus
Yes.
being able to take a step back and work on the business. And I think virtual assistants fill that gap perfectly when they're properly trained and, they actually know what they're doing. So, um, absolutely. And what would you say, Lottie, like what is your core offering? What does it look like to work with you? How does that look in engagement with Lottie?
Well, it was really interesting you mentioned about the virtual assistants being trained. Personally, I don't think you should be training any virtual assistant, because if they're going to be self-employed, if they're going to be what they call themselves, they should be already have that experience background to go into it. No one should be training anyone when they're self-employed. That's like saying a plumber comes in, but he's actually a gas engineer. Like, why should I be training you? So that's a massive thing for me. So the people that come on board, all our subcontractors specialize in their industries. And our core values and the core area that we specialize in is social media strategy and content creation. That is the big thing for us. And that is something people say that they can do. And everyone says the word strategize, but they don't really understand the marketing psychology behind social media. And it's all about storytelling, talking to your ideal client. It's not just about posting for the sake of posting. It's not just being consistent. It's the whole thing. Does your bio speak to your ideal client? Are you engaging with your ideal client? Are you speaking to what they need and want? And I think we've lost that personal branding that so many individuals can give. And so I'm really much on like the personal branding, storytelling, the marketing psychology behind it all. So we kind of do all of it. But the biggest thing for me, I think, is social media strategy. I think if you don't have one, you're in a little bit of a pickle. And that's why we want to come in and sort it out. Because I know so many people that sell courses, but they struggle to sell out, whereas I've sold out and I know what it's like now as well. I can go from two different sides. I'm a coach as well as an agency owner. So I can go, well, have you tried this yet? We come in with new ideas to support you.
Yeah. And that's another big gap to fill because a lot of business owners are so good at what they do, but they don't know how to pull a lever and get more business, right? And so much of
Yeah.
that is due to the fact that their social media just doesn't actually connect with their target audience. So you coming in, doing an audit, right, giving just a fresh standpoint or perspective on what they should do, I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
is really refreshing for them. So, okay, so it sounds like there's sort of two offers. You have the VA side of things, then you have the social media strategy side of things where,
Yeah.
yeah. So is that like, do you ever do like a 2-for-1 situation, or is there one that you're focusing on more than the other, or what does that look like?
We call it the social assist package now. So we can either assist you, depending on your budget in mind. You can either go, we can do it for you. We can do it for you, social media strategy, and do the awareness and branding and social media management side, or the social assist, which is literally, you came to me today, Sam, and said, do you know what? I'm fed up with scheduling everything. I just want someone to come in and schedule all the content for me for this month. We can go, no problem. We can take the scheduling for you. And then you could come to me and go, Lottie, I know you're doing the scheduling, but actually, could you also support me with the graphics and just the editing of the reels. And we go, no problem, we could do that for you. So we can take little chunks of the social media management for you, and that's our social assist, or we can take all of it at once. What normally happens, our most popular is a social assist, but slowly but surely within 6 months we got it all. They got
Yeah.
to the point when they've gone, oh my gosh, what else could you take? And then they're just like, take
Just
everything.
start offloading it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. So let's shift to the back end of the business. Okay. When it
Mm.
comes to client acquisition, what are you currently doing from a lead generation and marketing perspective to bring in more clients?
That is such a good question. We do it two separate ways. So with virtual Lottie, so I'll talk about both because it's probably a really good example of the differentiation.
Cool.
So virtual Lottie at the moment, the way that we've been bundling that one up is by doing like lead magnets. So what is it that our ideal client need right now? So we created the content blueprint, which was a strategy where we could help you come up with AI templates, a content planner that would be filled in for you. So then you can go away and utilize that with your ideal client. It has little AI prompts in there that gives you the ideas from you telling him what the pain points are of your ideal client. That was our lead gen side of things. And that allowed us to take their email addresses and then put them into a funnel and build up the relationships from there. That's the way we done it with the client acquisition on that end.
Was that organic or was that paid?
All organic. I've
All
never
organic.
paid ads. That's how strong our content is, really, because we're literally speaking to our ideal client. On the coaching element, I also offer masterclasses. So I'll do like a free masterclass or maybe a 3-day challenge. So I did one recently. I've just set up a membership for social virtual assistants membership, which is like the new VAs who have no idea what to do with marketing. Like we mentioned, they should be trained, but
Yeah.
they're paying to train themselves. So that's a good start. And so they're investing themselves, which is awesome. And what I do with them is I give them a membership. I teach them everything about socials, everything else. But the way I got them is because I went, right, let's do a 5-day free challenge. I taught them all the basics. They'll go away, do a challenge. And then by the end of it, the course has practically been sold itself because we've given them little golden nuggets inside that. So you've got the lead gen side, which is bringing in lead magnets, and the other side, which is the masterclass. And then on the top funnel part of it is the engagement, because we all know if you're not engaging, if you're not building no like and trust people, they're not going to come into your audience. So those are my 3 areas that I focus on, my little 3 focus triangle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the masterclass, how do you promote that?
Organically. So I build it up through focusing on all the problems that people are going through. But I'd recommend if people are going to do that, they go and do a survey and ask people like, what is it that you're struggling with right now? And if I
What
could
do you want
offer
to see?
you
Yeah.
a masterclass, what would you like in it? So go and do a survey. So I've got a Facebook group for virtual assistants. I put it in there and they gave me what they wanted. So social listening, we call it. And it's just listening to what people need who are your ideal client and facilitating that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me ask, like we've actually had several guests in the past, like they really did a nice job leveraging organic, right? And what they found was after a certain amount of time, like the momentum from the organic side of things would kind of dwindle. And they sort of express the frustration or the uncertainty with what do I do once that well runs dry, right? Or like how do I actually like push forward and continue?
Yeah.
Like what how do you navigate that challenge or what do you see as being, what you do to bring more predictability to the business?
Oh my gosh, Sam, do you know how many times we've had this conversation with like potential clients? They're like, I don't get it because I'm doing this and this, but they forget one thing is not going to work every single time. It's test and trial. So we do short sprints. We do like a sprint like marketing sprint, we call it. And it's 3 weeks where you focus on 1 week is all about hype. So you're hyping something coming, you're letting people know there's something new coming. You're also doing visibility and relatable content that will be shared. So for the teaching aspect between the two of us, we could do something where there's a reel. I don't know if you know him, but basically in the UK, there is a girl called Gemma Collins, and she's from The Only Way is Essex as a reality TV show. So, okay, how about I go with Love is Blind, right? You know Love is Blind, Sam?
I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh, how
Heard
do
of
you not
it.
know Love is Blind? It's huge in the US. It was US first.
I've
Um,
heard of it.
oh my gosh. Okay, so imagine like a Disney princess, and she comes in and she's just like, oh, she likes dramatic, and she drops onto the bed, right? You
Okay.
could put a reel together with a Disney princess going like, teachers coming back from summer holidays, not this
Right.
is how they feel, and they're like, oh, and it's just like relatable to all the teachers out there. If they were our ideal client, you need to be making really relatable content that's going to get you those big views, because the more
Mhm.
people share it, the more people get the views. So the goal is to get 1 week is all about visibility content relating to your ideal client in a nice, open and light-hearted way. Then week 2 would be your problem, where talking about the problems, maybe like agitation, where you're telling them like, oh, this is what you need to talk about, like disagreeing with things and showing your expertise, kind of like us having this conversation is cool. You can tell I know what I'm talking about because of all the things I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Maybe the mistakes they're making and what they should be doing right now. And then the last week is when you promote something new. So you build up that hype. You've brought in a new audience because you've got the relatability, you're sharing the content, it's been across lots of different people. You've then building up the buyer journey by talking about the problems and your agitation side. And then you're promoting something at the end that they can come to that's relatable to their problems right now, and it will happen. I've done that for the last year and a half, copying and pasting the same layout, but lots of different
Framework, yeah.
ideal, masterclasses and lead magnets. And it's worked for me wonders. And it's worked for Virtual Lottie as well with inside the agency. So I know it works both for a social media agency perspective and as a coach.
Yeah. So do you ever find like, I guess with clients or maybe, you've seen bits of it yourself, like is there ever a point where, you can fatigue the audience? Or like is there a way to grow repeatably in an, in a purely organic way?
Easily, as long as you make it relatable, it should be something current. We could talk about Taylor Swift when she really did her marketing last month and you made it like relatable to you. I think you've just got to be authentic. The more authentic, the more
The
you
more
relate.
authentic you are, the more people share it is basically the
100%.
logic.
And it's just all
Yeah.
about relatability. It really, really is. Like us talking about teaching, immediately we could have sat here for hours talking about that if we wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So, Lottie, what does your sales process look like? Like, how does a lead turn into a client?
Ooh. So we have a inquiry form. We don't normally take appointments anymore because we just want to make sure that they actually do cover what we're looking for in an ideal client. Then we have a call with the person, talk about what their pain points are, what their objectives are, and then from there, we put a proposal together. I like to tailor it. I'm not one package fits all.
Hmm.
Then from that, we talk to the client, learn what they're looking for, send them a proposal. We normally book in a second call straight away to make sure if they have any questions, we can cover them in the second call. Then we normally do a kickoff from there.
So normally like a triage call to start, basically.
Yeah, I
Make
would say.
sure they check the boxes, they're a good fit, and then from there you move them into okay.
Yeah, and if not, we're very open-minded to be like, by the way, I don't think you're a good fit for us. However, we would recommend this person. So we always do try and make sure that we
Point
put them
them.
in the right direction to support
Yeah.
them as well. Yeah.
And do you find, so from your standpoint, like you don't go directly to the consultation, you want to make sure they're qualified, is just because there's like an overabundance of inquiries, or like what's the thought process there?
Well, we used to get about, I don't need that many clients. I'm not someone who needs like 10 to 15 clients a month. We're very boutique in that style. So we used to sign about 4 to 5 clients a month. That was our go-to. And we have like a 80-90% conversion because we're very personable and our prices are like, in the middle of the high and low. But we found that we were fitting into too many boxes, whereas now we want to fit into a particular criteria because we found that we do our best work, we get the best results for those clients, and we can keep long-term relationships, which is why we've gone down that route. We used to be all size fits all, but it just doesn't work that way anymore. And actually would rather a client, if they, I don't know, had a black box on a plane that they wanted to promote. We find someone who is relatable to the airplane industry working in social media from that side. So it's literally nothing against anyone. It was just because we found we get the best results for specific individuals under a certain criteria. And we thought that way we do the best work for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So when you think about your vision over the next 12 months, what are your milestones that you're hoping to achieve in terms of impact and income?
I think I'm going to go a double loop here. So I've just set up a retreat for virtual assistants. So I want to do my first UK retreat with like 10 women entrepreneurs. So that's quite exciting. I want to go on my own women's retreat for entrepreneurs. We want to hit 10K profit. Our gross is high. Profit isn't when you're an agency. So I want to hit 10K profit in virtual Lottie only. And I want to hit 100K annum in Lottie coaching as well.
Mm-hmm.
For the two
100K a
separate.
month? 100K a month?
I wish. No, won't go that far just yet. Maybe in 5 years. That maybe be a 5-year plan there, Sam.
Oh, I don't think so, Lottie. You have the right strategy.
No.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you said the profitability side of things isn't very high. Like, how do you plan to like address those challenges in terms
We
of
have
business model?
addressed them in the last year and a half. So the last year and a half, we had a business coach that supported us with all the way through up until last month,
Mm-hmm.
just enabled us to get to where we are now. And that was the vision, what we're doing. And we're just now continuing with what we have because we haven't allowed ourselves to keep on one path for too long. We've had so many launches and lots of different products and stuff. So to get to there, I think it's just consistency, sticking to our guns and boundaries, like setting boundaries, self-care and things like that. And I think since we've been happier people and looking after ourselves, we've seen our business blossom.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Lottie, I have one more question for you. If you could take all you've learned in business, okay, from fulfilling to clients, marketing, selling, everything, and you can give your prior self one piece of advice, you prior to starting this business, what would
Yeah.
that one piece of advice be?
Trust the process. Be patient and be kind to yourself and just learn. Don't worry about mistakes because everyone's human and we all make them. There'll be always cracks no matter how perfect you think your business is. It never will be. And just trust the process.
I love that. Cool. All right, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode and want to learn more, Lottie, where can they find you?
You can either find me at Virtual Lottie on Instagram or Lottie Doherty without the K. So it's DOHERTY _ on Instagram.
Awesome. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million a year in just 2 years. Until then, keep on climbing.